Hi everyone, my name's Coco. Today I want to talk about the top 4 lessons of European history from an Asian point of view. This means that I believe that there are 4 lessons of European history that are super important. And these lessons are unique not only in Europe, but in the entire world. First, ostracism. Okay. It was practiced in ancient Athens. Basically, what it means is that is kicking someone deemed to be a threat to Athenian democracy out of the city for many years by voting. Some say 5 years, some say 10 years, but either way, it's a long period of time. And the ancient Athenians just vote some people out of the city, basically, sending them into exile. Okay, and this person tends to be someone with excessive ambition or influence. So he could be a tyrant. A tyrant back then meant somebody who could be could override the existing constitution. Not necessarily brutal. I mean, this guy may definitely has ambition, but not necessarily brutal. He may not use force to achieve his goal, but he's going to be a threat to the existing rule. And this, well, ostracism was practiced between BC 487 to 415, based on what I've read. And the second lesson is the big one. It's the Constitution of the Roman Republic. It was the Constitution was an unwritten constitution with veto power everywhere. Well, I can say that the ancient Romans had checks and balances in many ways, and many officials could veto the policies or decisions of other officials. So, for example, the ancient Romans have 2 consuls with equal power. So, the consuls were the executive officers of Rome, but both of them have equal power, and and this design is to make them check each other. Okay, and and as for the legislative branch of the government, well, they had several legislative bodies. For example, the Comitia Curiata or the Senate. Okay, and there are other executive officers. For example, the praetor, who is more in charge of legal affairs. In fact, the praetor is a judge a lot of times. And then there's the tribune. In Latin, that would be tribunus plebis. What they do is they could veto the decision of many officials on behalf of the plebeians. And the plebeians were generally the poor people. And then there's the censor, who was in charge of compiling the list of citizens. So the constitution of the Roman Republic uh, started in about 509 BC and lasted until 27 BC. And this is typically the textbook definition of the Roman Republic. The duration was from 509 to 27 BC. Okay. And next, we have Magna Carta. And this lesson is much smaller than the Roman Republican Constitution, so I would simply say that basically the gist of Magna Carta is simply fuck the king. Simple as that. Okay, and there's a wide range of resources about Magna Carta, so I won't go into detail here. And the fourth one is a little bit strange because most people would not pay attention to this one. It's the imperial diet of the Holy Roman Empire. And Holy Roman Empire itself is quite often neglected in history textbooks compared to, for example, the French. Okay, compared to the dynasties in France. Okay, and even though the Holy Roman Empire was a very large political entity, but it was very loose, so it did not get the attention like France does. Okay, so the imperial diet is similar to the cabinet. Some say it has legislative functions, powers, and some say it doesn't. So it could go either way, I guess. Okay. So in Latin, it's Dieta Imperii. In English, it's the imperial diet, and in German, it's Reichstag. Okay, Reichstag. So the imperial diet has strong veto power against the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, and the result of this setup is this. So how many emperors of the Holy Roman Empire do we know? Not very many, right? So, and why is that? That's because the emperor's power is severely curtailed and challenged by the imperial diet. And the reason I include the imperial diet is this: the European Council. Okay, and I feel that the European Council is very similar to the imperial diet, because the European Council determines the EU's general political direction and priorities. So, yeah, the EU says no, it is not one of the EU's legislating bodies. But on the other hand, if it could determine the EU's political direction and priorities, then I would say, yeah, it is a legislative body. Okay, to me it is. To them it is not. Okay. And then there's also the Bundesrat, okay, of Germany. So I feel that Bundestag is is at least somewhat similar to the Imperial Diet. And basically, the Bundestag is the upper house of the German parliament. Okay, and it doesn't get as much as attention as the Bundestag because the German chancellor and the ministers come from the Bundestag, not Bundesrat, but still, all laws in Germany have to get the approval from Bundesrat to be signed into law. Okay, so it is still pretty important. So my conclusions are as follows. The governance of a state must be contractual, and a contract must bind both parties. And the directions of political control have to go both up and down. And Europe seems to have more examples of upward control. And this is why I see these 4 lessons as the most important lessons in European history for all mankind. Okay, and the Holy Roman Empire seems to have more influence than it gets credit for. For example, the European Council and Bundesrat feel like the modern imperial diet. Okay. So yeah, I hope you can watch Coco's TV show someday, and then you will know how an Asian sees today's Europe in a fun way. I promise. Okay. Thank you, and please don't forget to buy Coco coffee. See you next time.